What is up, everybody? Welcome back to racingdudes.com. Welcome back to another one of our horse previews as we go towards the Kentucky Derby. This video, we're going to talk about Sixspeed, second place finisher in the UAE Derby last time out. And as you see, 5 starts lifetime, 3 wins, 1 second, 1 third, 3 starts this year, 2 first and 1 second. All right, let's go to the results here. And quickly, you see every race has come at Meydan Racecourse. A little bit of a worrisome situation as he's moving to a different race course for the first time in the Kentucky Derby. Third in a maiden special weight on debut, and then a couple of victories before running and winning the 2000 Guineas. That was the local prep race for the UAE Derby. Set the pace in the UAE Derby, round the corner, maybe looked like he was going to take it all the way, and then he kind of got passed fairly easily by Wonder Dean, but he still runs second in that race, and obviously that's why he's here. So pretty good resume there. 5 starts, hit the board in all 5 of them, and obviously at Meydan, he really does kind of like that surface. All right, let's look at the breeding, and kind of like Dan and Bourbon, who's coming in from overseas. Sixspeed, also a Kentucky bred. This horse is by Not This Time, obviously a sire that we know and love over here very, very much, by a Medaglia d'Oro mare. So should be okay, going 1.25 miles. You know, we've seen Not This Time throw out any kind of runner. Medaglia d'Oro horses, not too bad on that distance either. So I do think this is a horse that, you know, from a pedigree standpoint, could be okay going 1.25 miles with the right trip. Last time out, he may have gotten a little tired, though, going 1 3/16 miles. So maybe that is something to keep an eye on. You know, maybe he is better a little bit shorter, but I'm not overly concerned about the distance so much. Running style, and this is going to be a big key horse to the pace of this race. This kind of projects to be the speed of the race. This projects to be the horse that's going to get out in front of everybody and try to take him gate to wire. Now, the issue with that, some of these international horses that have come over, they don't get out of the gate very well. They don't exactly do what they're supposed to do or what they show on paper. Now, what I'll say is that's certainly not a lock. There are some horses that can get out of the gate and have gotten out of the gate and, you know, went to the front or did whatever they were supposed to do in the race. But a lot of them don't. So that kind of makes him a little bit of a pivotal horse in things. Even if you don't think he can win the race, if he can get out there and get to the lead and set a hot pace, it could set it up for the horse that you do like coming from off the pace. So that'll be interesting to kind of monitor Sixspeed in that regard. As far as the negatives on this horse, I think, you know, it's pretty clear. He's only raced at Meydan. So what does he look like away from there? And also, you know, with any international shipper, that question mark of, okay, that's great. What they've done overseas is great. How does that translate and how does that match up to the American style of running? Also, he was kind of well beaten by Wonder Dean in the UAE Derby. Now, he did run on okay to get second, and I'm not being overly negative on that race, but, you know, we're not sure Wonder Dean's good enough to win this race, and that's the first horse he's got to turn the tables on, and then he's got to, you know, match up with these other horses that he's never faced before as well. So, you know, there are some question marks there. Is he good enough to win the race? That is the big thing. But he's bred very well, you know, and like I said, he's got a lot of speed. He might be going out there towards the front, and it might be him and Pavlovian out there on the front banging heads. We'll see what happens there if Sixspeed can get out of the gate. All right, final verdict on Sixspeed before we close this out. I think he's a horse that he's going to need the lead, and I think he's going to have to hope that some other horses don't get out of the gate all that well or whatever, and he kind of gets an easy lead. He then maybe becomes dangerous to hang on and get a piece of things. Overall, though, I do think he's a little bit of a cut below the rest of these horses, or some of these horses, I should say, that are top contenders in the race. I think this horse will make an impact one way or another, whether it is just to speed it up for other horses or whether, you know, he gets that dream trip and he can hold on for third or fourth at a huge number. You know, but at the end of the day, he's not on any of my tickets currently. Going to be hard pressed to get on any of mine unless we get to the, you know, the Derby draw and it's like, wow, he drew perfect and there's not a lot of speed. Maybe then you could play him on the bottom of trifectas and supers. All right, that'll do it for this recording of Sixspeed. Make sure to go to racingdudes.com. Check out the Kentucky Derby / Kentucky Oaks betting Bible. It is for sale right now. You want to check that out so you can win on Kentucky Derby Day. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, stay tuned to the channel for more Kentucky Derby news.